Welcome to the Clarity Advisor Show, where you'll learn how to grow your team today. Join Ken Trupke and his guests as they discuss what works and doesn't work to grow your team in today's world. And now, your host, Ken Trupke.
Hello, and welcome to the Clarity Advisor Show. Creating a culture where people want to come to work starts with a leader with a vision and a heart for people. My guest today, Mandi Brower, is the Chief Operating Officer of Quality Car Wash, a business that spans multiple car washes and some Tim Hortons coffee shops. Mandi fosters a culture where people are part of a team, feel supported, and can learn skills that help them in their career. Here to share more about creating a great place to work, welcome to the show, Mandi Brower. Mandi, welcome.
Thanks for having me today.
So, Quality Car Wash, what problem do you solve and who are your clients?
You know what? We appeal to anybody and everybody, from people who like candy to snacks to coffee, people who need fuel in their cars to people that need to wash their car and have a clean car. So we really appeal to anybody and everybody in all different walks of life.
Yeah, so between the Tim Hortons and the car washes, you've kind of got it all covered. If I need a clean car or something to eat, something to drink, it's all right there.
That's true. Yeah, we try to offer as much as we can to everybody.
Now, there's obviously a lot of car washes, gas stations, snack places and coffee shops. What makes your operation unique?
The difference in our operation is the people. And it started back in the 60s with my grandfather and his brother starting a Quality Car Wash. My dad jumped on early on. And through the years, we've just grown from small Holland-based business to out in the community, West Michigan, through Quality, and also developed Tommy's, which is now across the country and going worldwide. So it really has a great founding, but everything is really about the people that we hire, the people that we serve, the guests that come in, and the community, our relationships that we have, trying to connect our team members into the community as much as we can is a great way to really capture the people. And it becomes relationships. We have many of our people get invited to funerals and weddings and things like that just from the relationship that people come in and create because they come in for coffee every day or they come in to get their car wash every day. So it is really, really the people that make the difference.
Oh, it's such a terrific story that not only that your grandfather to your father, now to you, and I want to hear more about your career arc, but just that community involvement and to create that place where people are connected. And if somebody's coming in every day and you get to know each other, that's so great. So well done, because that doesn't just happen. That happens intentionally. So but before we get to some of that and some of your team, tell us about your career path. How did you get involved in this business that your grandfather and your father started?
Yeah, well, as most high schoolers back in the 80s and 90s, we kind of worked in the malls, the local malls, and I worked at a jean shop, got my retail experience there, and then I was going to college for accounting. So I worked at the wash a little bit during that time, and then landed myself an accounting job. Found out that I'm more of a social accountant than someone who likes to sit behind the desk all day. So I then moved on to a performance boat manufacturer where I was able to learn the ins and outs of manufacturing, purchasing, sales, all the different departments, worked in various departments myself. That business closed in 2025, kind of as a little bit of the downturn was starting to happen. And my dad asked me to sorry, not 2025, 2005. My dad asked me to come help him for a little while. They were working on starting the new manufacturing car wash equipment and needed him to have me help implement the new accounting system, bringing it more into today's modern age and bringing in a full inventory system and things like that. So I started that in 2005 and never left. So just kind of drank the Kool-Aid and have then went from manufacturing now to running the retail sites in about 2000, maybe it was 2008 or so, started running the retail sites and have just continued to grow from there, adding new sites every year.
Wow. All right. So tell me about your team. You've got, I think you told me at one point, like 10 locations that you're responsible for. So how many people is that and what kinds of positions do you have for people?
Yeah, we have about 260 to 280 people that we're responsible for. And each location has their team. Each site has about 2 leaders. Those leaders are direct reports to our general managers, and then they kind of all report to me as well. So we do a lot of things together. We work very well as a team together. So we work with each site, and then each site works with their team. So it's still my goal to try to know half of the team members at least at each location, but the more locations we build, the harder it gets. But our leaders have all been with us like 20 plus years. We've got a couple leaders that have been with us 30 plus years. So really maintaining leaders, taking care of them, taking care of their families has been, the core to what we do.
Wow, and that's such a powerful example, I would imagine, then for the other teammates to see that, hey, you can make a career of this, and it can go on for not just years, but literally decades at one place, because we don't see that very often. It feels like people, I mean, the average is, I think, 4.2 years before you change jobs. And so to see, not necessarily that everyone would want to stay forever, but that you can have a lengthy career there and have places to go and be part of that team for so long. So good work. And along those same lines of good work, you guys have won multiple best and brightest places to work. So you're obviously doing things right. So tell me about some of the things you've learned to do well with the team, some of the lessons that have worked over the years and how you've built up this team.
Obviously pay is important and benefits are important, but beyond that, it's communication. They want to feel part of it. They want to feel in the know. Especially in our world when we're building a new site. Sometimes we just kind of run it behind the scenes. Not everybody needs to know. We just need to do. But they have guests coming in all the time, asking the questions, asking how things are going, asking about it. So we need to keep them as in the loop as we can. And so we use a couple different software systems to do video newsletters, to communicate via messages. We do 2 big team rallies each year where we try to communicate what's up and coming for the next 6 months. And they have big team events that way where we bring everybody in. So communication and keeping them in the know has been very important. They want to know what's going on and they want to feel like they're all part of it and they're part of making decisions for their location. And that's really, I think, been the key to them being important. We talked earlier about kind of the people that we have and the longevity that they have, but we also have a lot of roles that don't necessarily need college. They're a little bit more of trades, but they're not necessarily electrical and plumbing, right? They could be customer service, they could be maintenance, they could be building services. There's a lot of different things. So some of these kids come in and see that, wow, I don't need to go to college and spend a lot of money. I've got a great future here in different roles, different areas. And then, always we've got an administration team of about 17 people. So there's always opportunity for them there. College is great, but I'd rather have someone that has already worked for us for 6-7 years come into a new role than someone who's brand new out of college. So we can continue to grow our people that way as well. And so we get a lot of great reviews on that because they see the internal growth within the organization, that we are continuing to reinvest in the assets that we have, but then also into the people and giving them new opportunities.
Yeah, so good. So I do want to dive in a little bit to that best and brightest. I mean, that's a big deal. So go ahead and brag a little bit. First, I'd like to know how you got involved in even applying for that, and what was that process like, and what did you have to do to win, and frankly, just how many times have you won it?
Okay, I've lost track of how many times we've won it, but Michelle, I think, connected us several years ago on it, and just something that we continue to do. And I love it because it sends a survey out to all of our team members, and we can get all the feedback that we're looking for. And so that's where we kind of learn that they want to be more in the know. They feel like they're not communicated to. Even though we are communicating over and over, they feel like they're not communicated to. So it's very simple. You just go online, you apply, you fill out a big survey. After you've been in it once, the application process is much easier going forward because they already know who we are. But then every year they send out surveys to our team members and get the responses. So we try to get, 70, 80% responses because we really want to know how they're feeling and what they're liking about what we're doing or what they're not liking. And it just has worked out that they love what we're doing, and we continue to improve and focus on the areas where we might be lacking a little bit, and we continue to get the awards. So
that's terrific. I love that comment that you made about communication, that what I'm hearing is it feels like no matter how much you communicate, people still want more.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's just such a good lesson as leaders to remember that even though we feel like we've communicated, and maybe we've even feel like we've over communicated, like I've told them a bunch of times, of course they know, people are still hungry for that information, and you can't really over communicate. No matter how many times you say it, it's still comforting and helpful for people to hear it.
That is true. You got to think about all the noise that we have. So a few years ago, we played a game, which is the telephone game that probably everybody's played growing up, right? And you got to pass the message. Well, we had a whole bunch of distractions. So we had phones ringing and we had different noises going on in the background, which was challenging for them to to get that message to the next person because there was so much background noise. Well, that's what these kids have right now, right? At school, it's their coaches, it's Snapchat, it's Twitter, it's Facebook, it's all these other things that their phone is going off for. And we got to try to be communicating through that noise. And in order to do that, we've got to continue to give the message over and over and over. When we get sick of it, they still are just getting it. So even though we think we've gave it that many times, they need to be able to just get a hold of it at that point. So we got to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. We sometimes do forget that noise, as much as we've got noise coming into our lives, so do all the people we're trying to communicate with, and cutting through that clutter can really be difficult. So yeah, I think that's just such a good leadership lesson to remember that over and over and over. And when you're sick of talking about it, you probably just need to communicate it even one more time. So
Yeah, right.
that's good
Right.
stuff. So
Yeah.
you created such a strong culture here. Why focus on that? What was so important in your mind about culture that has caused you to put so much time and energy into that?
I think there's multiple reasons. One is the way we treat our team is the way they're going to treat our guests. So if we want to have the best guest experience, we need to treat our team with the utmost importance and the best way that we possibly can. Secondly is there's a cost to turnover, right? It's expensive to have people leave and to retrain and to get them on benefits and to do all the termination of benefits. I mean, there's a dollar amount that goes with that. And so ultimately it is, really making sure that I would say, don't have the turnover that other chains experience. And if we continue to have turnover, we don't have leaders to promote as we're opening these new sites. So it's really important for us to be able to spot the up and coming leaders. Sometimes it's within 6 months of them being hired. Sometimes it's a couple of years, but we really want to spot who is going to be an upcoming leader for us and really focus on pouring into them and training them and getting the growth, because we can't grow more sites if we don't have the right people to grow them. And so that's super important for us. And frankly, I don't want to work a register. I can't keep up with those kids these days and all the buttons. So I need to make sure I got the best team there, and I want them working there. So we're going to treat them great.
Oh yeah, so much good advice in there, and some really nuggets for leaders everywhere about putting the team first and making sure that that's the focus, and making it a great place, and looking for leaders, looking for emerging leaders. I love that too, that you're thinking about who's going to fill the next slot, especially as we grow. It's not as if you have turnover that you need to necessarily replace. So there's some of that, but also, hey, we're a growing business. Who's next to step into those leadership roles? So it's such good stuff. Well, Mandi, I'm sure it wasn't all a path of roses, so we'll get into some of the challenges on the other side of the break, but stay with us on the Clarity Advisor Show. We're talking with Mandi Brower.
Is your business where you want it to be, or on track to get there? Clarity Advisors helps business leaders improve communication and get your team aligned and engaged for greater success. We specialize in helping you streamline your sales and operating systems to improve efficiency and grow your profits. Call or text Ken at 616-822-2998 to have a complimentary 12-minute call to see what some clarity could do for you.
Okay, welcome back to the Clarity Advisor Show. Today we're talking with Mandi Brower, Chief Operating Officer of Quality Car Wash. So Mandi, you shared some of the successes. Tell us maybe some of the mistakes you've made or the lessons you've learned over the years with building teams.
Well, as a young leader, you kind of want to prove yourself, and so you try to do it all. And micromanaging is not the way to do it all. So there was some times, especially when it becomes more stressful or things, back in 2008, 2009, financially things were stressful, volume was down. We had to make some, decisions on how to keep things running, and we did, and it was great. But some moments were probably not so great in those times, as trying to micromanage, trying to be everywhere, trying to do everything and not rely on the team. And, it took a person, one of our other leaders, to pull me aside and say, hey, we're here, we can help too. And it was kind of like a aha moment of, you know what, that's true. You actually have just as much experience as I do. Let's share the load. We don't need to get so stressed about everything, and really try to just, pour into other people and not push them away, not try to micromanage. Even if someone is doing it 90% of the way you would do it, they're actually getting it done because you're not getting it done because you have too much on your plate. And I still to this day have to remember that, because it's easy for me to say, yep, I'll do it. Yep, I'll do it. Yep, I'll do it. Well, they would have had it done a long time ago at 90% versus waiting for me to do it. And that's still a challenge that I have to fight with myself on sometimes. But there are people in your organization that can do what you're doing, and you need to rely on them to be part of the team to do that.
Yeah,
So I'd say
absolutely. Delegation is always such a challenge, but it has such huge payback. I like to refer to it as the 150% rule, which is I would take it down even from your 90. Like, let's say somebody's doing something 50% as well as you would do it. Well, as long as you're doing 100% of something that only you could be doing, you're actually getting 150% of something done, because even if
Right.
it's only half as good, it's still more than you can do by yourself. But for whatever reason, it's such a hard lesson. And we got to I love that you remind yourself of that over and over, because I get that as well, that it's just something we don't do naturally.
That's true. Yeah, it's true. And just remembering, to step back, like when you're getting overwhelmed and when there's too much, step back and see, okay, what has to be done right now and what can I pass off? Or, what can I meet with somebody on for 30 minutes and they can put 3 hours into the project, right? So, just trying to downsize the work that you have to put into it has been key, because, I tried to do everything myself and it doesn't work.
Yeah, and that's why we have a team, right? We build the team, and then we still try to keep everything ourselves. So let's remember,
Yep.
the team wants to do the work. Let them do the
Yep.
work. Yeah. Well, attraction and retention of talent is a huge topic in business right now. So I need you to share that stat of how many applicants you had last year for how many positions. But what is it that you guys are doing to attract talent right now?
Really, ours is word of mouth and networking, really just being bold in the community, being out in front of everybody, and making it a great place to work. So we have a lot of referrals from our current team members. We pay 3 different steps of a referral bonus. So they're eager to get their friends in, because then they make more money. So they can make up to $175 if we hire and retain their person. I think it's up to like 3 months. They can make $175. So there's a great incentives in that area. But really just being known and creating a name for yourself as a great place to work, being flexible. Everybody's busy. They have sports schedules. We schedule typically 4 weeks out, so that way people know when they need to work. So if we can get this schedule out, they can look ahead. They can look ahead to practice. They can look ahead to their band concerts. They can look ahead to Christmas parties. By mid-November, we hope to schedule through the end of the year, because people are busy and there's so many things going on. And so if we can get the schedule out in front of them, they know when to work, they can schedule the rest of their life around it, or call for a replacement if they need to, and be able to plan ahead. Try to minimize the, last minute, I need a shift covered tonight because I only found out last week I had to work and I have a band concert, right? So just being very, again, communication, but getting out there and being flexible has really paid for us. We also really try to be flexible in their sports, right? A lot of the young athletes are great workers, but it's really hard when they do multiple sports. So we try to make sure we have a good mix of fall athletes, winter athletes, spring athletes, so they can cover for each other during the different seasons, because, especially when they get into high school, the time is less available. So that's key. And then just trying to build good teams, as far as not every person can work for our different leaders. We have a lot of different leaders with a lot of different traits. And just because they're not working at one location doesn't mean they're not a good person. Let's try and put them at a different location with a different leader, because everybody can be motivated by different things. And so we've really found that we've been able to save some great people, or some great relationships, because just moving them to a different site to work for a different structure, a different leader with different traits, has really been really great as well. So
Yeah, I love that. That's such a good tip. And it just shows your commitment to the people that, look, it's not that you're not a good fit here. It doesn't mean you're not a good fit for the organization. You're just not a good fit for this store or this particular location. Let's try you somewhere else because you've got the characteristics of someone we want working for us. We just need to find the right place for you. The right seat on the bus, as Jim Collins would say. That's so good. Well, I don't want you we don't want to move on without that statistic. Tell everybody how many applicants you had for how many positions last year, because that just blew me away when you told me.
So last year we had over 6,000 applicants. We had over 6,000 applicants. We had over 4,000 phone screens. So our hiring process is pretty in-depth. We have phone screens. We have first interviews, second interviews. And so we had over 4,000 phone screens, and we only hired 148, and that was opening 2 new locations. So very little turnover, and was able to fill those new seats that we needed. And then a few that just leave for college. There's kind of a ongoing every August. We usually lose a few. So
yeah, that's just incredible to have 6,000 applicants for essentially 150 positions. It just speaks so much to what you have going on and how desirable a place it is to work. So congratulations on that. So, well, once they're on the team, retention can be just as challenging. And you just hinted at a couple of the turnover issues you've got, people leaving for college or what have you. So how do you work to retain the team once you get them on?
Feed them. They like food. Every month they have a team meeting. So it's a variety of different things, but every month they have a team meeting where they're given a meal and they're giving different kind of knowledge, again, the communication of what's in the know. We do gas cards so they can earn gas money for coming to work. We do actually attendance incentives. So if they get perfect attendance, no tardies, no call-offs, they get an extra $2 an hour each week. So we have different things built into their pay that gets them to really be engaged with what's going on. We have different commission systems. We have different sales contests every month, and just continually try to change those up. So it's very intriguing, very interactive, and doesn't get old, doesn't get stale. We don't want them to become complacent in what they're doing. We want every day they come in to be inspired and be energized. So we're just constantly bringing new things out there and then working to treat them well. And, they get paid well, but there's a lot of different fun things they can do to earn more.
Yeah, fun is the word I thought of as you were walking through all those examples. It just sounds like a fun place to work. Like there's always some kind of a contest and it's different every time. So maybe if I didn't win this one, I could win that one because it's not always the same. And there's food and events. And yeah, that's terrific. And that's what it takes. It takes a full engagement of the person to keep them on the team. Nobody wants to come to work just for the job, or if they do, they're not going to last long. And so to have the kind of retention that you've had, it really speaks to the intentionality of what you're trying to create for a culture. So, you and I met through our mutual friend, Michelle Steffes, and I heard you on her podcast talking about heart-centered leadership. Tell me about that, what that means to you and how you apply that at Quality.
Well, heart-centered leadership just kind of really is what we've all talked about, and encompassing, really focusing on the people, really focusing on their feelings, really focusing on them as people and not as numbers, not as, a transaction, not as a shift, not as just someone on the schedule, but really focusing as them as a person and how we can help them walk this journey through life. They may be with us for a long time. They may be with us for a short time, but they're with us for a reason. And what can we do to help make their life better in the time that they're with us? And, that's what we try to get all of our leaders to feel, to understand, all of our emerging leaders to understand, and how we try to continue to live out the best that we can. We're not perfect, and we make mistakes, and we maybe do things or make decisions the way we shouldn't, but we try in every situation to make it the best that we can for each person, and hope that we've had a positive impact, whether we've taught them something new, we trained them, we made a contact for them. Sometimes our customers come and recruit right from us. We understand that, but we hope that if we're sending someone off, we're sending them off with more knowledge than what they came to us with.
Yeah, I would imagine you've got such a high volume of people coming through for the different reasons as customers, people getting their car washed, people getting their coffee. And yeah, I think I'd be pretty impressed with your team. And if I was looking for somebody for my business, I might be pretty tempted to go, hey, you thought about working anywhere else? And
Right?
and so, yeah, and it's great that you're good with that, that you recognize that, hey, people are here for a season and that may not be decades. And so let's have it be the best and grow them the best you can while they're with you, and then wish them well on their next leg of their journey.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, Mandy, if you could just give young leaders, especially people that are new in leadership roles, advice based on what you've learned building your teams, what would that be? What would be some good advice or the best advice you have for a young leader?
I would say that's probably two things. Listen more than what you talk, right? Really shoulder up to your new team members or to any of your team members and listen. Listen to how their day is going. Listen to what's going on. Listen to different ways in it, how you can help them, but really to listen. The second thing I would say is learn. There's a lot of people that are in your role or out in the community, LinkedIn, whatever it is. Learn as much as you can from other people. You're not the smartest person out there. And there's opportunities to learn in every role that you're coming into. And if it's not in your organization, seek for ways to learn outside of your organization. College is great, does all the book stuff, but it's not always the real world, human to human type interactions. And just be that person that people want to be around and help and motivate and inspire others.
Oh, so good. So, well, you are obviously a learner as well. So what are you consuming these days, books, audiobooks, podcasts, whatever, to continue to fill your cup so that you've got more to pour into your team?
There's a lot of different things that are out there. I can say that I'm in a life position right now. I have 3 teenage boys that are pulling me every which direction. So I do try to connect with like our local chambers, learn some things from there. Like you said, Michelle Steffes has great opportunities. YouTube has a million videos that you can just watch on leadership. You name Jim Collins. There's so many more out there. Just type in leadership and it brings you all different videos. There's lots of podcasts out there, and I have a hard time shuffling through all the content that's out there, but it will come to you. Just Google something and it will come to you.
Yeah, well, it's a lot like we talked at the top of the show about the noise out there that works, on us as well. There's just such an overabundance of resources. You type in leadership, you're going to get tens of thousands of hits as books and podcasts and what have you. And so, how do you even curate that or start that? But I agree. I think just start listening. What I've been able to do over the years is find people that resonate with me, and then kind of subscribe or sign up to their content and come back to them, because there's too much. You can't take it all in. And so you've just got to find the couple that really speak to you. But I love that idea of just go out there and Google something or get on YouTube and find what comes up and start going through it. Because there's so much out there. And yeah, we always need to be learning. We always need to be growing. Otherwise, I believe we can't have more to fill our teammates with. We've got to
That's
grow ourselves in order to help grow others. So, well, this has been so terrific. I really appreciate you taking time to talk with us today, Mandy. Who should reach out to you, and what would be the best way for them to do that?
I would say that my email is the best way, mandy@qualitywash.com. That comes right to my phone. And again, avoiding that noise, that's probably the best way to do it. And anybody that has any questions. But like you said, find somebody that you like, just going through YouTube, subscribe, or sign up for their daily emails. You may not read every email. You're going to get overwhelmed. But you'll find a time when it's a good time. You're waiting at a train. Just catch one and read one for the day, just to bring you that next inspiration or that next motivation. And then just always be open to learn from others around you. Even if you're at something that's a different industry than what you're in, you'll be able to take a nugget or a gem back that you can translate into your industry and into your role. And just always be eyes open, ears open, because you're going to find things along your daily journey.
Oh, I think that's such good advice. I mean, as somebody that advises and sees multiple businesses, I found that definitely to be true, that you see something over here, you're like, wait, they could apply that over there, and they're 2 totally different industries, but they've got this one thing in common that could help. And so that cross-pollination of ideas is so true. You just got to get out there and keep, like you said, keep your eyes open and antennas up. So, well, Mandi, we'll get your link to your email in the show notes so people can reach out to you with questions. Again, just thanks so much for being here. It's been a great conversation. I really appreciate you, and congratulations on the success you've had with quality and the growth and what you bring to the community. I think that's so important that you build that connection and just changing lives of your team. And then, as you said earlier too, that so they can go, how you treat them is how you're going to treat the customer. So it just multiplies. You treat your hundreds of teammates, and then they're treating those thousands of customers, and it just has that ripple effect through the community. So thanks for all that you do.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of another Clarity Advisor show. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Clarity Advisor Show. Clarity Advisors is a speaking, training, and consulting firm specializing in helping you simplify your sales and operating systems to improve efficiency and grow your profits. Connect with Clarity Advisors today to learn more about how they can help you improve communication and get your team aligned and engaged for greater success.